How often would you say that you use social media technology?
Um, how often do I use social media or technology? I use technology from my job, what I do all day long. I work off a computer um, at work in the port. I'm a machine operator. We load and unload cargo all day long, so I work off a computer. As far as social media, I'd have to say um, not really too much with social media because I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Twitter. So any type of social media that I know about is either speaking with you know my coworkers on my breaks, television and radio because I do listen to a lot of radio during the day. I listen to a lot of stations that like WBAI that gives you everything that's going on all over the world. So I listen to a lot of news, and I would have to say, speaking to work, I get most of my social media.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. How has social media technology impacted your life?
Can you say that again?
Yes. How has social media technology impacted your life?
It's taught me greatly of just outside of the United States from the different stations that I listen to at work, what's going on around the world, and just which I never had before because, like I said, I have so much. I put in so much time at work that I have enough time to listen to radio media, and I work with a lot of fellow longshoremen, and we basically on our breaks we basically speak what's going on around the world. Everybody has different inputs, so it's pretty cool. Everybody has it's discussions all the time on what's on just everything, what's happening here in the United States, what's happening Europe. We talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting on my at work. It's pretty interesting. That's where I get most of my education on everything on
Mm-hmm.
my job.
Okay. Um, how do you personally protect yourself, your privacy, when using social media technology? So, you know, I know you said that you're not really on Facebook or Twitter. So, would you say that's one of the ways that you protect yourself from technology in a way? You protect your privacy.
I would say definitely. I mean, I have no access to. I'm not a computer guy. I'm not a computer person. I never was. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, we're in a computer world. So I mean, I never had any use for a computer until I became a longshoreman. Where I work off a computer all day long in my machine. But other than that, I have computers at home. I don't really use a computer. I have no reason to use a computer. So basically, I think that's privacy in its own way, right there. I mean, I'm not sharing any. I'm not sharing any information with anyone, really. I mean, that's my privacy act right there. Is that I don't. I'm not a computer person. I don't have. I'm not on Facebook. I don't Twitter. I don't do any of that stuff. I mean, I call me an oddball, but that's just where I stand these days. That's where I'm at. That's
Um,
where.
do you
I'm at.
do you personally feel though that like young kids nowadays, when they are on social media, do you think that they're totally, you know, giving up their privacy and sometimes they're sending out some information that can later affect them in jobs and things like that?
Absolutely. I think that social media is good and bad, and I think you have to be responsible and be focused of what you put on on the media. You must protect yourself at all times, but as you've seen over the years, social media has created a lot of problems, even deaths, many deaths from being on social media. Um, so it has its pluses and it has its minuses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I would say it has as many pluses as it does minuses. I mean, so you have to really be cautious of what you say and what you do in the media. because it could be very costly.
Mm-hmm. You know, what do you personally feel that the future will look like with social media technologies?
That's a tough question. I mean, just look at where we are right now. I mean, I don't know. It could be we may be looking at a disaster. We may be looking at a disaster the way social media is going right now. It's terrorist, from different terrorist attacks and ISIS, and just kids committing suicide. I see it just exploding. I see it becoming a big problem. I see it becoming a big problem for the future.
A big problem as well as a plus, right? It's kind of like...
I see it becoming more of a problem than a plus. I really do.
Interesting. Okay. So lastly, you know, like you said, you see in the future, definitely media technologies are going to be expanding. They're going to be getting bigger. You know, in your opinion, it's kind of a negative, you know, because bad things have happened along with new technologies and things like that. But just say, you know, in a couple years, more than a couple years, in the next decade, technology becomes a must. Everyone must use it. You can't get by without using it. What do you personally feel would help you stay current with the technologies, with new media technologies? What do you feel would help you stay current with it? Other than, you know, listening to, you know, the radio and watching TV, you know, just say you actually had to use a technology, what do you think would help you? You think maybe taking a class?
I think if I became more computer literate, because like I said, I'm a 52-year-old guy, father of a family of 5, father of 3. That I've never really used a computer before. I never had to use a computer. I'm able to take care of my family. Like really not having to be a computer, you know, literate person, and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. I never had to use it. Till this day, I never use it. I have no ambition to use it. I make a good living at what I do without it. And I'm one of those people that, you know, can make a decent living that don't need to be on a computer. Now, but if I would like to one day really get, you know, take a class and to really, when I have time, maybe later on down the road, and really get more involved in the you know, the whole industry, because I think I may eventually want to branch off and do something like maybe open up my own business or something like that when I get out of my field. But as of right now, only computers that I have access to is basically what I do for a living. Is I drive a straddle machine that it's a big machine that basically loads and unloads cargo onto ships and onto trucks, and that's the only access I have to a computer right now. Probably the only access I'm really going to need for another 10 years till I retire. So that's where I stand at this point in my life right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.